Digital people.
DIY Do-It-Yourself with Raspberry Pi. Hello friends, in the previous video under the DIY topic, I have introduced about Raspberry Pi 4 and how effective it is useful to us. In this video, I would like to talk about the operating system and useful projects that can be installed in Raspberry Pi to make our day-to-day digital life easier and also secure our data. How I got a Raspberry Pi introduction? Twitter is the best source to keep yourself updated on our favorite topics. I usually spend 20 to 30 minutes on Twitter to get updates and information about Python, DevOps, artificial intelligence, data analytics, card and payments. Sometimes the Twitter analytics designed in such way to feed or suggest us with next level of information about underlying topics. For example, since I follow Python, I get more suggestion about pandas, NumPy, Jupyter and some extent to Raspberry Pi device. I have heard about Raspberry device which can be used as the small computer and can also be used for running 24/7 processes, so I just clicked to follow the Raspberry Twitter page. The next day I started getting more tweets about the DIY, and that is where I started to know about fantasy around DIY. In fact, DIY is also one of the well-supported projects by Google in DIY, so I encouraged to learn about the DIY of Google project, and that slowly made me buy a Raspberry device to try small DIY project by myself. What is Raspberry Pi? A mini powerful computer which fulfills our basic requirements to play around with some technology in our home. The main purpose of Raspberry Pi is also for the same reason, to leverage every people, even kids, to use this and entertain themselves by doing interesting projects like the weather station, voice assistant, smart speaker, home automation and local cloud which can be stored and accessible from your home. There are the varieties of Raspberry Pi devices exist like Intel processors, and it is our choice to choose based on the project and purpose that we are planning to use Raspberry Pi. Here are the available and mainly used Raspberry Pi for different projects. The Raspberry Pi Zero is low-cost single-board computer with single-core CPU processor, which is sufficient for running basic kids projects, but until the project is so budget conscious. You can directly choose Raspberry Pi 3 model as it has enough power to run even the operation that you would do with an Intel Celeron processor. This model is made with PO, general purpose input and output, which can be used to integrate with the other electronics devices. I shouldn't close this chapter without mentioning Raspberry Pi B+ that supports 64-bit architecture. You can choose this until you know about the project that you are planning to work with this, otherwise, as a standard, you can directly go with Raspberry Pi 4. Let's see the small OS for big purpose. Okay, so far we discussed Raspberry Pi hardware device. How about the operating system that will work with this mini computer? Yes, Raspberry has more option to install the operating system such as Raspbian. Raspbian is the standard operating system that specially builds for Raspberry Pi hardware. The OS comes in two forms such as desktop and light images, but both are built on top of Linux OS. The desktop version has GUI with educational software pre-installed for kids' learnings and ready desktop for our general purpose use. Raspbian Lite is designed for lightweight, but we can play around by installing the variety of software if you are bit techie. I feel this OS as the gateway for developers and techies who wants to explore software and having a hobby to play always on systems. The best part is, you have plenty of support on Google for a quick solution. There are the different versions on top on Raspbian such as Wheezy, Jesse and Stretch, but the Stretch is the newest version with all famous software updated. Ubuntu Mate. Ubuntu Mate is the OS that replicates the real Ubuntu OS. If you are a fan of Ubuntu like me, then you can choose this option and enjoy the Ubuntu on a mini computer. This OS also best suits if you want to make your own IoT device based on Ubuntu IoT. Windows IoT. As like Linux OS, Windows also part of this era by releasing IoT OS. You can choose this OS if you are going to work on software that's compatible with Windows. You may not find better support for setup, but as always, Windows documentation is straightforward to go. OZMA. OZMA is the best project to start with. Yes, it is a TV which can stream your local media or through the internet. If you have normal LED/LCD TV with HashiO option and you wanted to make it as smart TV, then you can set up this image on low-cost RaspberryPi and stream IP TV/movies through it. This image has been created on top of Kodi. In fact, nowadays most TV boxes are pre-installed with this kind of software to deliver you the better contents. There are tips available from a variety of sources to play around with this TV to enjoy your entertainment time. LibreLink. This is another image especially for pure Kodi. If you have a Raspberry Pi device and don't know what to do with it, just etch your on plain SD card and enjoy the IPTV stream with high-quality content on your costly TV. Pinet. Pinet is designed by computer science student for the classroom mini projects. It is to manage the multiple Raspberry devices from one place and also internal network managing for file sharing. If you are a teacher looking for a creative way to encourage your students, go ahead and install this image to make project collaboration among students. PMusic Box. PMusic is an image created on top of the Mopedi music server. If you have wonderful Bose/JPL speaker lying in your old box and you are kinds of DIY, then go ahead and etch this OS on SD card to create your own Sonos like a smart speaker. You can follow this blog to start doing it now. You can also check out Volumio. NextCloud. Nowadays we are taking more photos, videos and also hosting our docs on the third-party cloud environment like iCloud, Google Drive and OneDrive without knowing how our data are handled and maintained. If you are a kind of person who concerned about privacy and DIY, then this is the right solution for you. Create your own cloud at home and safeguards your files on your own HDD that connected with the Raspberry Pi device. The NextCloud also has the Android, iOS and desktop client to continuously sync your files from anywhere to your Raspberry Pi device that hosted at your home. This option does not require you to be more technical, so you can go ahead and install it directly on your Raspberry Pi. It is very similar to OwnCloud, which I showed in the last video. HashiO. If you are more interested in automating the stuff in your home but you are not much technical, then this is another best image to install Raspberry Pi and play around on the Home Assistant. I recommend you to start playing it if you are really free and have enough time, as it is more fun and interesting stuff to configure. The HashiO is built with necessary add-ons to use it like a simple plug-and-play method. This method not required you to be more techie. But if you are a techie and wants to enjoy the HashiO on Raspbian OS, then you can install the Docker and on top of it install HashiO Docker image. This HashiO community support has explained very well. Mycroft. As I have discussed Mycroft on my blog. This is an open source voice assistant image which is perfectly designed for Raspberry Pi. This is a voice assistant designed concerning privacy, so you can DIY this voice assistant in your home and enjoy. The privacy-concerned voice assistant has a variety of skills in GitHub, and based on your requirements, you can install the skills. This is not required for you to be more techies, as it is very simple to install Aiden by asking Microsoft itself to do that. I would suggest changing the hot word from Microsoft to Mark, since it is sometimes confused while pronouncing it. OpenHAB. This is another home automation software, which is also available as an image for Easy Etcher, and starts automating the home stuff and reduce your water and electricity bills. You can go through this Medium blog to DIY. I have not wet my hands with this since I am a fan of Home Assistant, a Python project. Rasplex. Rasplex, another image, which is the client for Plex Media Server. This is another best option to stream your music from your home HDD of your favorite music and movie collections. Also, it has the TV add-ons to stream IPTV and news channels. You can also install the Plex server on your Raspberry Pi by following this blog explained very well. Again, if you don't have a smart TV, then you can install Rasplex client and server on the same Raspberry Pi and enjoy your favorite contents on your TV. Hope this video helps you guys to know the operating system and projects that benefits using this small computer Raspberry Pi. Next week, I will post the video of setting up the Raspberry Pi.